In this video, we'll be taking a look at 12 of the most disturbing upcoming horror games ranging a variety of different platforms and subgenres. There's no specific order for this list, so with that being said, let's get right into this. Last Year. Last Year is a 5-on-1 survival horror game where 5 players take on the role of a group of high school students who must survive against the one player assuming the role of the killer. As a student, you need to escape the high school alive, working together and crafting weapons to fight the killer. As the killer, you have a completely different experience hunting down and ambushing players, and you'll have different types of killers to play as. Last Year doesn't have an official release date, but it'll be coming to PC on Steam.
There's a couple of survivors now. It looks like Chad and Troy. They might actually have weapons already, so it could be risky to try and attack 2 people head on. What I'll do is unspawn and look before I plan my attack. First, I'll place a trap here. Last Year's build with different environmental spots, like this trapdoor, that the killer can use to separate survivors from one another. Now I'm going to actually use that skylight up there as my spawn point. Now that I've trapped him, I'm gonna go in for the kill.
Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares is a puzzle platformer horror adventure developed by Tarsier Studios, who actually developed Little Big Planet on the Vita, Little Big Planet 3, and Tearaway Unfolded, so you know they have some experience working on quality platformers. Little Nightmares centers around a 9-year-old girl trapped in the maw, an underwater resort catering to powerful creatures. The game is very atmospheric and has a shot to be one of the most surprising hits of the year. It releases on April 28th for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Allison Road. Allison Road is a game that has a bit of history. For those that don't know, the game is considered to be a spiritual successor to PT, which was the playable teaser for the cancelled Silent Hills title. For a little bit, we thought the game would have to be cancelled, but it looks like development of the title is proceeding. The game really seems to embody horror, and if this title sees the light of day, it could be one of the defining horror games of the generation. Fingers crossed. Friday the 13th, the game. Friday the 13th is a multiplayer survival horror title that was self-funded through Kickstarter and backer kit, raising around $2.1 million. It's set in a semi-open world in the Camp Crystal Lake. The time period is set in the mid-1980s to capture the feel of the original films. The game itself supports up to 8 players, one playing as Jason, the others as the camp counselors. The game's a lot of fan service. Hopefully we see a release before the end of the year. Agony. Agony is a first-person survival horror title being developed by Mad Mind Studios. The game centers around a character beginning their journey as a tormented soul within hell without any memories of their past. You have to avoid the demons within the world and solve puzzles to progress to new areas. This is a horror game that has been gaining a lot of traction, and just like Allison Road, really embodies that horrific atmosphere. Agony is set for a release on PC, PS4, and Xbox One in 2017. Visage. Visage is a survival horror title set in a huge house where mysterious and terrible things have happened, but you're unaware of them. Through the game, you relive fragments of history that are supposed to reveal these horrific things, and each of these piece together to the true history behind the house. It's very interesting in premise, and Visage's core gameplay is actually inspired by Silent Hills. We still don't have a release date for Visage, but hopefully it comes before the end of the year. It's slated to come to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Scorn. Scorn is an atmospheric first-person horror adventure game set in a nightmarish universe. It's designed around the idea of being thrown into a world isolated and lost. It's non-linear, and every location you come across in the game contains its own theme, story, and characters. The game has a huge emphasis on immersion. Interacting with the world is very realistic, and there's no HUD to add to that. Scorn is expected to be released in 2 parts, and the first part should be out by the end of the year for PC. Ghost Theory. Ghost Theory is an indie first-person adventure horror game being developed by Dreadlocks, who also did the cyberpunk RPG Dex. Ghost Theory consists of several missions, each an open-ended haunted ground in a playable sandbox. The game is set for a Q4 release this year on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Hello Neighbor. Hello Neighbor is a stealth horror game revolving around sneaking into your neighbor's house. It has a very interesting Pixar art style, the gameplay is touted to be extremely tense, and if you want a taste of the game, a free pre-alpha demo is available for everyone to download. A full release is scheduled for summer of this year on PC. Routine. Routine is a game that's been in development for a long time. It's a first-person horror exploration game set in an abandoned moon base. The game visually is very impressive, and the atmosphere is one area that it really seems to excel at. Hopefully we see Routine sooner rather than later. It's got a ton of potential. PAMELA. PAMELA is quite an ambitious game. It's a science fiction first-person shooter set in a survival horror open world. It takes place in a utopian city called Edens, consisting of malls, courtyards, and residential condos. Thematically, the game revolves around the darkness created by mankind's misguided pursuit of perfection and the cost it has. It's technically outstanding and has a lot of potential. The game is set to be released sometime this year on PC.
Don't let this city become your grave.
Finally, welcome to Hanwell. Welcome to Hanwell is an open-world psychological horror game set in a city where your nightmares become reality. Hanwell was once a safe haven, but has degraded into a cesspit of anomalous scum. The game has an early demo, so if you're interested in playing it, make sure to check that out. Otherwise, a full release will be coming late 2017 on PC. So that wraps up 12 of the most disturbing upcoming horror games. What do you think? Which horror games are you the most excited for? Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.